Hello and welcome to Geology Concepts. Today, we are going to start our current affairs series, which is the Current Connect series. Here, we discuss the most important current affairs throughout the year for the Combined Geoscientist Prelims Examination, which is for the year 2025 of the upcoming year, right? This is the part 1 of the month of May current affairs, and where we will cover most of the current affairs related to your topics like polity, international relation, governance, economy, and some aspects of cultural and historical importance, right? So this is the broad overview of what are the topics that we are going to discuss today. So without any further ado, let's get started. The first topic is on the World Press Freedom Index of the year 2024, right? The 2024 edition has recently come out in the month of May, and India was ranked 159 among the 180 countries that were ranked, right? So 159 is not very overwhelming achievement for India. Of course, it is a very underwhelming performance by India, and it is released by the NGO called Reporters Without Borders, or the RSF. Remember, this is an NGO and not an UN organization, because most of the time questions come in that Reporters Without Borders is an UN organization. If that comes, that statement is wrong. The Reporters Without Borders is an NGO. The theme of this year's index is a praise for the planet, that is journalism in the face of environmental crisis, right? So environmental crisis has become the central theme. So journalism in the face of environmental crisis is something that is the theme of this year's index. And we also need to know the top 3 rankers of this year's index, that is Norway, Denmark and Sweden, right? So India was ranked 159, and the top 3 countries that are the top 3 high performing countries are Norway, Denmark and Sweden, and it is published by Reporters Without Borders, which is an NGO based in Paris, right? Next up, the Mullaperia Dam issue, which is a federal issue, right? It is a topic that is related to federalism. So what happened is Tamil Nadu is accusing Kerala of obstructing the construction of Mullaperia Dam, in which Kerala was allegedly delaying the routine maintenance work of this 126-year-old dam, right? So this Mullaperia Dam, is one of the oldest dam in India, which is 126 years old, as I said, and it is located in Kerala's Idukki district. Now, if you see that this Mullaperia Dam is on the Periyar River, this is the Periyar River. Now, this Periyar River is a 244 kilometers long river, which is also the Kerala's longest river and also called the lifeline of Kerala. Now, where does this Periyar River originates? It originated in the Sivagiri Hills in Tamil Nadu. So, Tamil Nadu is where the Periyar Dam is originated, and it flows towards Kerala, right? So, the origin is in Tamil Nadu, but it flows towards Kerala. If you see, the Mullaperia Dam is in the upstream side of the Periyar River, and the Idukki Reservoir is on towards the downstream side of the Periyar River in the Kerala state, right? So, and also there is a important tiger reserve here, that is a part of Periyar National Park, that is Periyar Tiger Reserve in the near the banks of Periyar River, right? And the tributaries are Muthirapuza, Mulayar, Chiruthoni and Perinjankutti. So there are 5 tributaries of Periyar River. Now you need to remember where the Periyar River originated, to between which states this Periyar River is distributed, and also it is the longest river of Kerala, right? It is also called the lifeline of Kerala. This is what you need to remember as far as your exam is concerned. Now the next topic is about the BIMSTEC, that is the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral, Technical and Economic Cooperation on the BIMSTEC, right? So recently the BIMSTEC acquired the legal personality status. Now what is this legal personality status? So if you remember that there was a charter that was signed and adopted during the 5th summit of the BIMSTEC's 5th summit in Sri Lanka in the year 2022, right? But this charter was not, it was adopted but not completely come into force until May 20 of this year. right? On May 20 of this year, this charter has come into force, and this has conferred a legal personality status to the grouping. Now, what is the significance of this status? What happens is, when an organization becomes a legal personality, the organization can form external partnerships, also admit observers and new members. Without legal personality status, any groupings such as, for example, you take the example of BRICS, SCO, all of these are legal personalities, so that they can form external partnership or the alliances in a global level, and also admit and new observers and new members to the group, right? So for that to happen, the group has to be a legal personality, which came into force this year 2024, but was adopted in Sri Lanka during the 5th summit in 2022. Now let's understand a little bit about BIMSTEC. So BIMSTEC was formed as an alternative to SAARC, right? Alternative to SAARC in the year 1997 during the Bangkok Declaration. So through the Bangkok Declaration, it was formed. Remember, this Bangkok Declaration is an important thing that is related to the BIMSTEC. Now, who are the members? Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Myanmar, Nepal and Bhutan. So Pakistan is not a part of BIMSTEC, as you can see, but Pakistan was a part of SAARC, right? So to avoid the SAARC grouping, India was actively involved in forming the BIMSTEC group as an alternative to the SAARC, right? Where is the headquarters of this BIMSTEC group is located in Dhaka, and there are multiple projects and exercises, military exercises that these countries combinedly do, such as the one like disaster management exercise formed by the BIMSTEC countries called the DMEX, right? So these are the things that you need to understand as far as the BIMSTEC is concerned. Next is the dispute over South China Sea. You must have seen many times in news that most of the time the South China Sea is disputed between many countries, right? So recently what happens is, Philippines denied the China's claim on the second Thomas Shoal. So what happens is that the South China Sea has many islands and shoals from which China claims most of the territories. Now the bordering countries, that is Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, Philippines, Taiwan, they are contesting the China's claim on different territories because they fall on the exclusive economic zones of many countries, these countries, right? Now, where does this South China Sea form? So this is a part of your Western Pacific Ocean. Remember this, right? So the part of Western Pacific Ocean, South China Sea, it starts from somewhere near here. This is the Malacca Strait in the southwest part, and it ends somewhere here in the Taiwan Strait, right? So this is the stretch where this stretch is your South China Sea. Now the most important thing that you need to understand is that the key dispute over the South China Sea based on the 9 dashed lines. So these are the dashed lines, the 9 dashed lines that China claims its territory. China says that where these 9 dashed lines are going, this is the sovereign territory of China. But this is not actually the case, because these are also the part of the exclusive economic zones of these countries: Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, Vietnam and Taiwan, right? So different areas are there, like the Paracel Island, Scarborough Shoal and Spratly Island, which are contested by different countries. Like the Paracel Island was controlled by China, but it is also contested by Taiwan and Vietnam. Spratly Island claimed by China but contested by Taiwan, Vietnam, Philippines and Malaysia, right? And the second Thomas Shoal that is recently contested is a part of the submerged reef which is located near this Spratly Island, somewhere here, right? So it is also the part of Philippines exclusive economic zone. So this is something that you need to remember as far as the South China Sea is concerned. Now the next update is on the Chabar Port. Now recently India and Iran have signed a 10-year contract for the operation of the Chabar Port. If you know that Chabar Port is almost complete right now, and the operation has also begun. Last year there was a news that Iran was frustrated with the delays by the Indian companies on the Chabar Port and was on the verge of giving the operational capabilities to on lease to China. But now India and Iran has reached a consensus, and now they have signed a 10-year contract for the operation of the Chabar Port, which is a significant milestone in India and Iran relationship, right? Now let's understand a little bit about the Chabar Port. So this Chabar Port is located in Iran's Sistan and Balochistan province, right? Sistan Balochistan province of this is the location of Chabar Port, which is in the Iran's extreme tip, which is the Sistan Balochistan province, and it is the only deep sea port in Iran, right? So the only deep sea port, Chabar Port, is in Iran, which is a part of the Sistan Balochistan province, and it is also a part of the India's initiative, which is the International North-South Transport Corridor, or the INSTC, right? It links Indian Ocean. So this is your Indian Ocean, and this is your Persian Gulf. So this Persian Gulf and Indian Ocean is linked by the Chabar Port, and this is one of the strategic port for India because India wants to counterbalance Pakistan's Gwadar Port. This is the Gwadar Port, which is also the part of the Belt and Road Initiative of China. So China, as you know, is circling India through its string of pearls strategy in Indian Ocean and Belt and Road Initiative in the land, right? The old Silk Route. This is also called the old Silk Route. So to counterbalance these initiatives of China and Pakistan combined, India is forming the part of the Chabar Port, right? To counterbalance the BRI initiative, and it also will provide a vital trade route for India to directly trade with Afghanistan as well as the Central Asian countries. So right now there was no direct route to trade with Afghanistan. India has to pass through the Pakistan's airspace or the transit corridors through Pakistan, right? So that due to the bilateral relations that are very harsh right now, the amount of trade that India can do with Afghanistan is also hindered, right? So that is why India is developing this port and trying to control the route through Chabar Port to trade with Afghanistan, and if it get access to Afghanistan, it can also trade with the other Central Asian countries, right? So this is the overall understanding of the Chabar Port. Now, in the economic sector, you need to understand some of the developments. China has become the India's largest trading partner again. So mostly for the past decade, China was the largest trading partner of India, but for the last 2 years, US has become the largest trading partner of India. In this year, that is a fiscal year that in March 2024, China reclaimed its position as India's largest trading partner, where the bilateral trade between both the countries has reached $118.4 billion. Right, and as I said, for the past 2 years, US was holding the largest trading partner position with India. Now it's shifted to China. Now, why this happened? Because in the last 5 years, India's trade deficit with China has widened significantly due to the increase in imports of around 44.7. That is around 50% increase in imports from China. Now, these imports are particularly in the critical sectors like telecom, technology components, and EV batteries, right? So you know that this our EV industry is booming right now. So we need a lot of semiconductors, PV cells for your solar energy. So all this manufacturing are mostly based in China. So these critical components are being imported heavily in the past 2 to 3 years, and that is why the trade deficit with China has also increased, and also India and China has become the largest trading partner of India in the recent time, right? Now, this is one of the things from cultural aspect. Recently, the Ramcharitmanas, Panchatantra and the Sahardya Lokalachana has been added to UNESCO's Memory of the World Asia Pacific Regional Register. So there is a register called Memory of the World Asia Pacific Register, where literary works are registered to commemorate the rich cultural heritage of a country, right? Cultural heritage of a country. So recently these 3 epics are added to the World Asia Pacific Regional Register. Now, as far as our examination is concerned, we need to understand who are the authors and which language these literary epics were written, right? So the literary work Ramcharitmanas, it is written in Avadi. Remember this is written in Avadi by Goswami Tulsidas, and it is the poetic retelling of the Ramayana, right? Ramayana was in a prose format, but it was converted to the poetic way by Goswami Tulsidas in Ramcharitmanas, which is written in Avadi. Then comes the Panchatantra, which was written in Sanskrit by Vishnu Sarma, right? It is one of the story within story structure, right? There is a story, and in that story there is another story. So story within story structure, Panchatantra, written in Sanskrit by Vishnu Sarma. Then Sahardi Lokulochana was also written in Sanskrit by Acharya Anandavardhan. So this is you need to understand and you need to remember, because questions can come from the book and the author, right? Next up, the update is on the Birupaksha Temple, which is in Hampi. So the Lord Birupaksha Temple, which is a part of your UNESCO World Heritage Site, part of it recently collapsed due to heavy rains, right? So Birupaksha Temple is in Hampi, as you know, and it is a part of the Lord Birupaksha, which is a form of Shiva and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Now, who built this structure? So this was built by a chieftain of Vijayanagar Empire called Lankan Dandesha under the king or ruler of Vijayanagar Empire, Prauda Devaraya or the Devaraya II. So Devaraya II is also known as Prauda Devaraya, right? And under him there was a chieftain called Lankan Dandesha. He built this temple, right? Now the architecture of this temple is in the Dravidian style, of course, because it is Vijayanagar Empire architecture. If you know that Vijayanagar Empire architecture as the culmination of both Nagara style, that is the North Indian style, and also the Dravidian style. So, this Virupaksha temple is mostly based on the Dravidian architecture, and it has been built in the 7th century AD. Now, some of the famous festivals of this temple are the marriage of Birupaksha and Pampa, that is the Shiva Parvati marriage of Birupaksha and Pampa, and all, which is held in December every year. And also there is a chariot festival in February that goes on here, and it is one of the UNESCO World Heritage Site in Hampi itself. So this is something that you need to remember as far as your exam is concerned. Lastly, let's talk about a scheme, that is the PradhanJanArogya Yojana. Now, there is a study that was conducted in Chhattisgarh recently, which revealed that although the PradhanJanArogya Yojana has been implemented in a very successful manner, still the out-of-pocket spending or the OOPE on health remains very high in most of the pockets, because the private hospitals practicing the widespread practice of dual billing by these private hospitals. What is this dual billing? That if you are getting admitted to a hospital for some illness, they will charge exorbitant prices. Now your insurance covers up to 5 lakhs. Now they will charge you 10 lakhs. So 5 lakhs will be given by the government, and also then the rest of the amount, that is the another 5 lakhs, have to be paid by the patient itself. So the out-of-pocket spending is also getting high because of the dual billing practice of these private hospitals, right? So the PradhanJanArogya Yojana is something that is implemented by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Now it was a part of Ayushman Bharat scheme, which was launched in 2018, and it as a part of its benefit, each family 5 lakhs will get 5 lakhs per year per family, and it is mostly for the secondary and tertiary healthcare purposes. Also, this is important that this can be availed in both the public and private hospitals, not only in government hospitals. You can also avail this scheme in the private hospitals, right? And it does not have any restrictions on family size, age or gender. Now, this coverage includes both your pre and post hospitalization expenses, and this covers all pre-existing medical conditions as well. So, this is a holistic health insurance provided by the government. Now, who are eligible for it? Mostly the poorest of the poor, or the bottom pyramid, that is the BPL card holders, are given are eligible for the PradhanJanArogya Yojana. This is not yet a universal health coverage, right? This is not yet a universal health coverage scheme. This is mostly concentrated to the 40% of Indian household, which is around 12 40% of the Indian household, mostly in the rural areas as well. Right. This is all about the scheme, Pradhan Mantri JanArogya Yojana, and this completes our discussion on the part 1 of the month of May current affairs. I'll come up with another video where we will discuss the rest of the topics that were left for the month of May. Right. I hope you gained some of the insights from this video. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you again.